Welcome. Tonight we drift into the soft hum of city lights and the quiet pulse of something that almost was once. You're sitting in your apartment, the kind that still smells faintly of cardboard and fresh paint, when the glow of your phone lights up the dimness, a dating app notification. You hadn't meant to download it again, but curiosity or maybe loneliness nudged you into it. You scroll through profiles like flipping through a memory book you never meant to open. Faces blur, bios repeat, until one stops you. A woman smiling in sunlight that feels familiar. There's something about her expression, the tilt of her mouth, the way she squints slightly like she's trying not to laugh. It tugs at something inside you. Her name doesn't trigger recognition right away, but your stomach does a strange little flip. You swipe right, thinking it's harmless. You probably won't survive this if you're expecting logic tonight. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is where you are. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You match instantly. That little confetti animation bursts across the screen, and you laugh out loud to no one. She sends the first message, a simple, "Hey, neighbor-looking guy." You reply with something equally light, but there's a tone beneath it, a vibration of déjà vu. Across the hall, on the other side of the thin wall that separates your apartment from hers, she's doing the same, staring at her screen, smiling. Neither of you knows yet that the laugh you both hear faintly through the wall belongs to each other. You've seen her in the elevator before. Once, when you were carrying groceries, she held the door open and you thanked her with a smile that lingered a little too long. You thought she looked vaguely familiar, but you didn't linger on it. She had earbuds in and that distracted, thoughtful look of someone with their own world to manage. Days pass, messages multiply. You tell her about your terrible coffee habit and your tendency to stay up too late, watching documentaries you never finish. She teases you about it. She mentions loving cinnamon rolls and rainy afternoons, and something in your chest aches. That combination cinnamon and rain used to be your thing back in high school. You'd skip classes sometimes, hide under the bleachers, and share half a pastry while the world blurred around you. You shake the thought off. That was years ago. That girl's laugh, the one that used to bubble up when you tried to be serious, has probably changed. People change. You've changed. But then she sends a photo of her cat sitting in a cardboard box, and on the counter behind it, there's a mug. Lavender-colored, chipped near the handle. You freeze. You remember that mug. You bought it for her at a flea market senior year after she dropped her favorite one during a move. It was too old-fashioned for her kitchen even then, but she kept it anyway, saying it reminded her of calm mornings. It has to be a coincidence. There must be hundreds of lavender mugs in the world. That night, you hear laughter through the wall again. That same familiar pitch, the rise and fall of it. It floats through the quiet like an echo from another decade. You sit there, half smiling, half uncertain, your phone still open to your chat window with her. The next morning, you bump into her at the mailboxes. She's wearing a hoodie and has her hair pulled back. No makeup, just like she used to when she'd show up at your door on weekends with 2 cups of instant coffee. Her eyes meet yours, and for a split second, recognition flickers. She tilts her head, smiles politely, and says, "Hey, you're my new neighbor, right?" You nod, pretending not to stare. "Yeah, apartment 302. Small world," she says softly, then laughs like the words are heavier than they sound. You both stand there for a moment, pretending this is the first time you've met. Pretending you don't remember the way her hand fit into yours when you were both too young to know what forever meant. Later you text her, "So, how's your day been?" She replies, strangely familiar. You sit there, smiling to yourself. There's comfort in pretending. Maybe it is easier to start again if you don't to have to admit you never really stopped. That evening, the smell of something baking drifts through the hallway, warm, sweet, and almost nostalgic. You pause at your door, catching it in the air. Cinnamon. Of course it's cinnamon. You can almost hear her laughing at the coincidence on the other side of the wall. You think about knocking, about saying something, but the words stay behind your teeth. Instead, you type another message. Smells like someone's baking something dangerous. She responds, guilty. Old habit. You stare at those two words, old habit, and feel the quiet hum of recognition ripple through you again. That night, you lie in bed, listening to the faint rhythm of footsteps next door, the low murmur of her TV, the clink of a spoon against ceramic. The city hums outside, cars passing, wind brushing against glass, and beneath it all, there's her. Still there, just like before, only separated now by plaster and time. You wonder if she remembers the promise you made under that dim streetlight after graduation. You'd said you'd find each other again someday, if life didn't get in the way. Maybe life just paused the scene. Maybe it's finally pressing play. You start noticing her more, not in a deliberate way. At least that's what you tell yourself, but in the quiet, accidental rhythm of shared walls. Her footsteps in the hallway match your own more often than chance should allow. The elevator dings, and there she is, pretending to check her phone as if she hadn't hoped to see you too. Your conversations online keep circling the same sweet limbo. You ask about her favorite movies, her comfort meals, her worst habits. She answers, playfully vague. You both talk like strangers flirting in the dark, though every now and then a word or tone feels like an echo. One night, she messages, ever get that weird feeling you've met someone before? You pause, thumb hovering over the keyboard. Then you type, yeah, sometimes like deja vu, right? She replies, exactly. It feels like that with you. Across the thin wall, she's sitting on her couch, staring at the screen the way you are. The TV glows in the background, but neither of you's watching. The distance between you is barely the width of a door, yet you both pretend you're miles apart. The next morning, you pass her in the courtyard. She's holding a paper bag from the cafe on the corner. Cinnamon rolls, you'd bet anything. She smiles, and there's a flicker quick but real. Morning, she says softly. Morning, you answer, eyes darting toward the bag. She notices. Old habits, she says again, a hint of mischief in her tone. You laugh. Some things don't change. Some do, she says, and for a second you both stand in that charged pause. The kind that feels heavier than small talk. Then someone walks by with a dog, and the spell breaks. You both mumble polite goodbyes, pretending not to glance back when the other turns away. That evening, while chatting, she mentions she's been trying to redecorate her apartment. She asks what kind of furniture you like. You tease her about being an undercover interior designer. She laughs, typing, no, just trying to make it feel like home. You type back, doesn't it already? There's a pause before she sends, almost. Just feels like something's missing. You stare at that message for too long. You could ask what she means, but you don't. Instead, you change the subject to something safer, something about your building's terrible parking situation. Still, her words linger, stretching between apartments like invisible string. That night, you can't sleep. You lie awake listening to the quiet sounds of her life next door, the faint hum of a song, the whisper of movement. It's oddly comforting, the idea that someone familiar is breathing in sync with you on the other side of the wall. Days blur into each other. Messages turn into voice notes, short and warm. You start recognizing her laugh again, not the polished version people use in public, but the real one. The one that used to spill out when you do say something stupid just to make her laugh. You remember one night, years ago, the two of you lying on your car's hood, counting satellites and pretending they were shooting stars. You'd said, if we ever lose touch, maybe the universe will cheat for us. She'd laughed and told you to stop being dramatic. Now you wonder if the universe took you seriously. It happens on a rainy Thursday. You both end up outside your doors at the same time, fumbling with your keys. You glance at her, hair damp, sweater hanging off one shoulder. She looks at you and grins. "Looks like we've got the same timing," she says. "Or the same weather app," you joke. She laughs, the sound soft but sharp enough to hit something deep inside you. The same laugh. It's impossible to ignore now. She catches your expression, that flicker of realization, and you see the recognition spark in her eyes too. But she doesn't say anything. Instead, she lifts her hand in a small wave and slips inside her apartment, leaving you standing there with 100 memories pressing at the edge of your mind. Later that night, she sends a message. "You ever think people cross paths again for a reason?" You type, "Maybe," or "Maybe we just live in a small world." She replies, "Feels smaller every day." You set the phone down, staring at the wall. You imagine her sitting on the other side, maybe doing the same. You wonder if she can feel your presence through the air between you. The next morning, you open your door to find a note taped to it. It's written in her handwriting, loopy and uneven, just like you remember. It says, "Coffee, no pressure. Just neighbors." Your heart does that strange, hopeful stutter it hasn't done in years. You grab your jacket, take a deep breath, and walk down the hall. Her door opens before you even knock. She's there, holding 2 cups of coffee, one of them in that lavender mug. She smiles, and you can't help it, you smile back. "Hey, stranger," she says quietly. "Hey, you reply. Neither of you mentions the years in between. Neither of you says the names that used to belong to each other. Instead, you both sip your coffee, pretending this is something new. But every glance, every pause, says otherwise. As you walk back to your apartment side by side, she brushes against you lightly, the same way she used to when she wanted to hold your hand without saying it. You look ahead, pretending not to notice. But inside, it's like hearing an old song again, the kind that reminds you who you used to be, and who you might still be, if you let time bend just a little. The next morning, you wake earlier than usual. There's light streaming through the blinds, that soft, gold kind that makes the world look quieter than it is. You make coffee, half out of habit, half out of the strange hope she'll text again. She doesn't, not right away, so you sit on the couch and scroll, thumb tapping the edge of your phone. You wonder if maybe that note on your door was a one-time thing, her way of being neighborly. Then the message arrives. "That cafe you mentioned, the one with the cinnamon rolls. You free this afternoon?" You smile, typing, "Wouldn't miss it." You're not sure why your hands shake as you hit send. Maybe it's because this time it's real. Not text, not walls, but face to face. You've done this before with her, but that was lifetimes ago, when the future felt endless. Now it feels delicate, like something that could crumble if you breathe too hard. The cafe sits at the corner, still smelling like coffee and butter and comfort. You get there early because of course you do. You pick a table near the window. She arrives a few minutes later, wrapped in a light scarf, rain still in her hair. She sees you and smiles like she's been practicing it all week. "Hey," she says, a little out of breath. "Hey yourself," you reply, standing up too fast, thumping the table slightly. She laughs, and you know that sound. It hits you like a familiar song, one that skips just where it used to. You order 2 coffees, 1 cinnamon roll to share. The waitress brings it over, and for a second, you both look at it, like it's a shared secret. "Deja vu?" she asks. "More like rerun," you say softly. She breaks the roll in half and slides her piece across the plate. Her fingers brush yours, and it's like time skips backward for a breath. The smell of cinnamon fills the air again, warm and comforting. "So," she says, "tell me about you, the new you." You smile. "I'm still working on him." She grins. "You always said that. Back then, you wanted to be a writer. What happened to that?" "I still write," you say, then shrug. "Just fewer poems, more grocery lists." She laughs quietly, then looks down at her coffee. You used to write me notes, she says, voice soft. Folded like little stars. I remember, you whisper. You used to keep them in your locker. She nods, her eyes glancing toward the window. The rain has started again, soft and steady. You both watch it for a while, sipping coffee, letting silence do the talking. It's a comfortable kind of quiet, the kind that only happens between people who've already said all the important things once before. When she finally speaks, it's so gentle you almost miss it. You recognized me right away, didn't you? You freeze. Maybe, you admit. Did you? She smiles. The moment I saw you at the mailboxes. You still tilt your head the same way when you're thinking. You laugh quietly. You pretended well. So did you. The air between you lightens, as if naming the truth makes it easier to breathe. After coffee, you walk her home. You take the long way, through the park behind the building. The ground glistens from the rain, and she skips over a puddle, just like she used to. She links her arm through yours without thinking, and you don't pull away. You know, she says softly, it's kind of funny. We spent all this time pretending not to know each other, and now it feels like we never stopped. You nod. Maybe we didn't. Back at the apartments, you stand in front of her door again. She turns the key, hesitates, and looks up at you. Want to come in for tea? You shake your head, smiling. Not yet. Let's take it slow. Always the cautious one, she teases. You used to jump into everything headfirst. Maybe I learned. She studies your face for a long second, then smiles softly. Okay, so it is. You both laugh, and the sound carries down the hallway, blending into the hum of the building. That night, you can't stop thinking about her laugh, her hands, the way her eyes softened when she looked at you. It's strange how something that once felt so far away can slide right back into place. You send her a message before sleeping. Had a good time today. A few seconds later, her reply glows on the screen. Me too. Sleep well, neighbor. You close your eyes to the sound of faint music coming through the wall. Her playlist hasn't changed much. Soft guitar, quiet voices, that same sleepy melody you used to fall asleep to in her car. You turn toward the wall, smile into the pillow, and whisper to the empty air, good night, and maybe, just maybe, she hears it too. The next few days unfold in that gentle, unhurried rhythm that feels almost like summer used to quiet mornings, small messages, the hum of something slowly growing back into shape. You fall into easy habits again, texts about nothing. Coffee left outside her door when she oversleeps. Her cat showing up at your doorstep because she still forgets to close the balcony gap. You start cooking more, partly because she mentions how she misses homemade meals. Sometimes she knocks on your door around dinner just to borrow salt, but she never actually takes any. She just lingers, barefoot, in that soft way she always did, half in, half out. Like she's testing the air between friendship and something that could turn into more. One evening, she invites you over to help rearrange her furniture. You're taller, she says. You can reach things. You joke about how that's the only reason she's talking to you again, and she laughs, tossing a pillow at you. The place feels lived in now. Books stacked on the floor, plants by the window, the lavender mug on the counter. It's warm in a way that makes you want to stay. She hands you a screwdriver, pointing at a shelf. Think you can handle this without breaking anything? You grin. No promises. The sound of your laughter fills the room, and for a while, it's easy to forget how much time has passed. You move furniture, hang pictures, talk about everything and nothing. The conversation drifts toward the years in between her travels, your failed attempts at writing, the people you both almost loved. You ever think about the past? She asks, sitting cross-legged on the floor. Sometimes, you admit. But I try not to get stuck there. Yeah, she murmurs. It's easy to get stuck. You look at her, the way she's tracing circles on the carpet absent-mindedly. You did that before, you say quietly. When you were nervous, she glances up. Guess some habits don't die. Some are worth keeping. She smiles faintly, then stands and walks to the window. The city lights stretch out below soft, glowing dots against the night. It's funny, she says, how we both ended up here. Same building, same floor. Like life rooted us. You joined her by the window. Maybe it's just coincidence. Do you believe that? She asks. You pause. Not really. Her reflection meets yours in the glass. There's that silence again, heavy but comfortable. Then she says, you know, I still have one of those little paper stars you used to fold. The green one? You turn to her, surprised. You kept it? She nods. It's in a drawer somewhere. I almost threw it away once, but I couldn't. You don't say anything, but something soft and fragile blooms in your chest. Later, you sit on her couch with 2 mugs of tea, hers lavender, yours chipped gray. The air smells faintly of cinnamon again. Her cat curls between you like a small, contented shadow. She looks at you over the rim of her mug. We're not pretending anymore, are we? You shake your head. No, I don't think we are. She smiles. Good, because I was running out of ways to pretend. The rest of the night drifts easily. You talk about silly things, movies, neighbors, her cat's strange obsession with shoes. Every now and then, your hands brush when you reach for the same snack or pass a mug. Neither of you pulls away anymore. When you finally stand to leave, it's late. She walks you to the door, barefoot again, her hair loose. The hallway is dim and quiet. She hesitates, then says softly, you still do that thing. What thing? That little pause before you say goodbye. Like you're trying to remember how. You laugh under your breath. Maybe I just don't want to. She steps a little closer. The air between you hums with something warm and familiar. Then don't, she whispers. You look at her, at the faint smile playing at her lips, the flicker of hope in her eyes. But you don't move closer, not yet. You just nod, murmuring, good night. Good night, she says, voice low and soft, almost like a sigh. You walk back to your apartment, and for the first time in years, your heart feels both heavy and light. You close the door behind you, lean against it, and let the quiet sink in. Through the wall, you can hear faint movement, her steps, her music, the small life of someone you used to know like your own reflection. You sit by the window, looking out. 2 lights glow side by side, hers and yours. The city hums quietly around you like it's listening too. And somewhere between the walls, the old rhythm of who you were and who you are begins to find its way back together. You think about all the moments that led here, the missed calls, the years apart, the accidental match. Maybe love isn't about chasing forever. Maybe it's about finding your way back when the world forgets to keep you apart. You look toward her window one last time before bed, catching a faint shadow moving past the curtains. You smile. Maybe tomorrow you'll knock, or maybe she will. For now, this is enough. You wake to sunlight cutting across the room, streaking over the floorboards, warming the air. It's Saturday, the kind of morning that doesn't ask anything of you. You make coffee, toast, stand by the window, and glance at the building opposite. Her curtains are open halfway, light pooling on her plants and books. You see her for a moment stretching, yawning, hair messy, wearing that same oversized hoodie she always used to steal from you back in high school. The sight makes you smile into your mug. Your phone buzzes. A message from her. You up? You reply, barely. Then she sends another. Come outside. You grab your keys, still half dreaming, and step into the hallway. She's standing there in the middle of it, barefoot, holding 2 cups of coffee, one for you, one for her. Morning, she says softly. Morning, you echo. You both stand there in that quiet golden light that fills the hallway, drinking coffee, pretending this is completely normal. Did you sleep well? You ask. Eventually, she says. Had too many thoughts. About? She looks at you over the rim of her cup. You, the word lands between you, simple but weighty. She takes a slow breath. You know, I used to wonder if it was love or comfort back then. We were kids, and everything felt so dramatic. I didn't know what I wanted. You nod. Neither did I. Her voice softens. But I think I know now. You don't ask what she means. You already do. Instead, you smile, and she mirrors it. Later, you walk together down to the small courtyard behind the building. The morning air smells of fresh soil and rain. There's a bench under a tree, the same spot you used to sit by after school years ago, before everything drifted apart. You both sit side by side, knees almost touching. She talks about her work, her cat, her new obsession with baking. You tell her about your writing, how you still jot down small thoughts in old books. Do you still write about people? She asks. Just one person, you admit. Her lips curve into that soft, knowing smile. I think I know who. A breeze stirs the leaves above you. The light flickers through them, warm and dappled. You feel the day stretching ahead slow, easy, quiet. She leans back, eyes half closed, the sunlight touching her face. Feels like time never really moved, she says. It moved, you reply softly. We just found it again. You walk her home afterward, but you don't stop at her door this time. You follow her in, not as neighbors, not as strangers pretending, just as two people finally caught up with the same moment. Her apartment feels different now, fuller somehow. Music hums low from a speaker. The lavender mug sits by the window again. She turns toward you. So what happens now? You think for a second, searching for the right words. Maybe nothing dramatic, you say. Maybe we just live next door, share coffee, steal sugar, borrow books, see where it goes. She nods slowly. That sounds nice. Nice can be good, you add. Nice can be home, she whispers. You both laugh at that, softly, the sound filling the small space between you. Later that night, as you sit in your own apartment, the glow from her window spills faintly into yours. You can hear the low hum of her music again, the same familiar melody that followed you through your teens. It's strange how something can sound both old and brand new at the same time. You think about all the years between, how you both loved other people, chased different dreams, grew apart only to circle back. Life's funny that way. It doesn't always give second chances, but sometimes it gives small ones disguised as coincidences. You pick up your phone. No message this time. No need. Instead, you look at her light through your window and smile. It's enough. And maybe that's the quiet miracle of it all. Not the reunion, not the app, not the memory, but the simple, steady presence of someone who was once a chapter and somehow became part of the whole story again. She turns off her light after a while, and you do too. But long after the room goes dark, you lie there listening to the stillness, the faint hum of the building, the heartbeat of something quietly returning. You don't need to say it aloud. The walls already know. So now, as the story softens, you can let go of the rest. Picture the two windows glowing side by side, one light fading after the other, the night wrapping gently around them both. The city hums low and far away, a quiet lullaby of distant cars and whispered rain. You can imagine yourself there too, sitting by the window, cup in hand, breathing in the comfort of something familiar finding its way back to you. No rush, no need to name it. Just the calm certainty that not everything lost stays gone. The air is still now. You can hear the slow rhythm of your breath matching the soft hush outside. You can feel the edges of the day blurring, thoughts growing slower, softer. Every heartbeat a reminder that connection doesn't always come with thunder. It can arrive like this, in a whisper, through a wall, through time, through a memory rediscovered. You let that feeling settle, the warmth of it sinking deep, easing every restless thought. The story ends here, but it doesn't really end. It just folds itself quietly into the calm of your mind, the way light fades but never truly disappears. So breathe in once more, slow and steady. Let it out. Feel the calm spreading across your chest, down your arms, through your fingertips. And when you're ready, you can close your eyes. The lights between windows dim. The sound of the world fades into stillness. And all that remains is quiet,